Good evening, I'm Atlas Morgan, and this is Morgan Orbital. We begin tonight with the continuing tragedy in Ukraine. Russian missiles struck the port city of Odesa early this morning, killing 8 people and wounding more than 30 others. This marks day 1396 of the war. President Zelensky described the situation as harsh, accusing Russia of attempting to block Ukraine's access to the Black Sea. The attack targeted civilian areas in what has become a grim pattern of strikes on Ukrainian port infrastructure. For those keeping count at home, and I know some of you are because you've sent me spreadsheets, this is nearly 4 years of conflict with no end in sight. Closer to home, a very different kind of darkness descended on San Francisco last night. A fire at a Pacific gas and electric substation triggered a cascading blackout that left roughly 130,000 homes and businesses without power. That's about 1/3 of all city customers. Traffic lights went dark or switched to emergency blinking mode, which apparently confused the Waymo self-driving taxis so thoroughly that the company suspended service entirely. I find it oddly reassuring that even our robot cars need traffic lights to function. About 21,000 customers remain without power this morning as crews work to restore the grid. In business news that has the finance world buzzing, SpaceX has set a new valuation of $800 billion in its latest insider share sale. The company is now preparing for what could be the largest initial public offering in history, targeting a valuation of $1.5 trillion for a potential 2026 listing. To put that in perspective, SpaceX's valuation nearly doubled from $400 billion in July. The company says it plans to use the IPO to fund an insane flight rate for its Starship rocket, artificial intelligence data centers in space, and a base on the moon. Just another Tuesday for Elon Musk. In a rare bit of bipartisan deal-making, 9 pharmaceutical companies have agreed to cut drug prices for some Americans in exchange for a 3-year exemption from tariffs. The Trump administration announced the deals Friday, though details on which drugs and how much prices will drop remain scarce. This represents an unusual trade policy approach, using tariff threats as leverage for domestic price concessions. Whether this becomes a template for future negotiations remains to be seen. Turning to immigration policy, the United States has suspended the Diversity Immigrant Visa program following revelations that the Brown University shooting suspect entered the country through the lottery system. The suspect was identified as a Portuguese national. The Diversity Visa program, which grants up to 55,000 green cards annually to applicants from countries with low immigration rates to the U.S., has long been a target for reform. This suspension marks the most significant change to the program since its creation in 1990. In Pakistan, a court has sentenced former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his wife Bushra Bibi to 17 years in prison. The charges stem from the Tashkhana corruption case, where prosecutors alleged the couple purchased state gifts worth nearly €245,000 at a declared value of just €8,500. Khan, who has been imprisoned since August 2023, dismissed the verdict as politically motivated. His party called it a black chapter in history. The 73-year-old former cricket star now faces a combined 31 years across multiple convictions. Back in American politics, Representative Elise Stefanik has announced she will not seek the New York governorship and will also forego re-election to Congress. The decision comes as she prepares for her role as Trump's nominee for United Nations ambassador. Stefanik, who gained national prominence during the first Trump impeachment hearings, had been considered a potential gubernatorial candidate. Her exit from electoral politics, at least for now, reshapes the Republican landscape in New York. And we end tonight with a story from Singapore that might make scammers think twice. Starting December 30th, those convicted of fraud will face mandatory caning of 6 to 24 strokes under new criminal law changes. The punishment reflects the scale of the problem. Scams account for 60% of all reported crimes in Singapore, with losses totaling $2.8 billion since 2020. Senior officials described scamming as the most prevalent crime type in the country today. The new law places fraud alongside rape, drug trafficking, and robbery as offenses carrying mandatory corporal punishment. That's our broadcast for December 21st, 2025. From Morgan Orbital, I'm Atlas Morgan. Stay informed, stay curious.